Leo was magic on She-Hulk a few years back. I just wonder whatever happened to him, if you guys will be working with him again.
Yeah, he's been doing Astonishing X-Men for the last 3 or 4 months. And, I don't think we've announced what he's doing next. Yeah, he's been working on Astonishing X-Men. And he's moving to another big project that will be announced soon, I believe. So,
That sounds right.
yeah. No, he's amazing. His art has such energy and such life to it. It's fantastic. But look, check out the Astonishing X-Men stuff. He's been doing some great work. His Lockheed, amazing.
We did announce it, yeah, we did.
But did we announce him as the artist on it?
We did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I saw his name or something. He's doing FF.
Fantastic Four.
No.
For the Future Foundation.
Yeah, Future FF, the book of Jonathan Hickman. Sorry, we're really organized up here.
It's Sunday. It's not really our fault.
Yeah, whoever the person was,
All the way in the back, yeah.
Yeah.
All joking aside, we made some comments about this. They chose to do that for various reasons. And if it works or not remains to be seen. I have my own personal opinions about it. I know most people do. I like the idea of relaunching a couple books in a small controlled environment like we do with the Ultimate line that we're doing it, and with some of the season 1 stuff. And every now and then you take an issue, you put it back down to number 1. But putting out 52 new number 1s in 1 month, which is 14 copies, 13 a week, and asking fans and retailers to commit to that's a huge, expense. And not having all your ducks in a row, not knowing what the continuity is. Some is after Brightest Day, some is set in the past, some is in the future, some is in an alternate reality. That's not a big way of keeping consistency or continuity. And, just shuffling creators around in books doesn't do anyone any favors either. And, but the redesigns look good. I trust in Jim and Jeff on JLA. There's a couple books I'm looking forward to checking out. And, how they choose to do things is one way, but that's not something that Marvel has any interest in, and we're not worried about it at all.
Here's a question. Who wants us to do that? Would anybody want us to do that? I'm just curious. Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, I agree with everything CV said too, but also, we're just doing what we're going to continue doing what we've always done. We don't think we're broken. We don't need to fix anything. We just need to continue telling stories we've been telling. That's what we're excited. We're coming up on a retreat where we're going to be meeting with all of our best creators, some of our best creators to just talk through what's happened in 2012. And it's a fruition of all the stories you guys have invested in for the last decade. So, if you've been reading Avengers and X-Men and Spider-Man, it's all going to pay off. You're going to see a lot of things tied together and a new future set up. So now, again, we do make a lot of jokes about DC, but it's just fun. We want it to be competitive.
Yeah, a strong DC is a strong Marvel, a strong Marvel is a strong DC, and when both of us are strong, it brings all the rest of the industry up. And that's really what we need right now is a strong comic industry. There's some amazing comics coming out from some smaller publishers, and if this gets people in the stores and sheds some light on some smaller books, it's going to be wonderful for us.
Gentlemen here.
All right, so we just started with DC. Do you guys put one DC character or one Marvel character against each other? And comic, who would it be?
Who would it be? I wanted to see what was it Bendis and Brubaker were going to do? Batman Daredevil. I think that would be pretty awesome by that creative team. That's one thing I would love to see.
I'll say X-Men and the Legion of Superheroes. I still want to see that done the way I guess it would have been done if it hadn't been for the Teen Titans being so popular. But I would love to see X-Men and the Legion by time travel back and get Claremont and Byrne and Levitt and Giffen from then. I just like what they were doing then. And get them all together and make that book, that would be awesome.
I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan. Yeah, she's one of my favorite characters. It's not Marvel. No, but anyway, I'd love to see her fight somebody and have Frank Cho draw it.
Who's next? Right there. Yep.
What role, if any, have you seen from Disney?
Mike, you want to talk to that?
It's really been a great relationship. I worked for other companies that have acquired, and it can be a real nightmare. The company comes in and just kind of reworks everything. Disney's, from day one, has had the approach that Marvel is successful. And the reason they're buying Marvel, they bought Marvel, was because Marvel was successful. So, from top management all the way down, they've always said, just keep doing what you're doing. That's what we need you to do. There's some stuff, as far as back of office, accounting, and things like that, that they've got they've got better structures for it that they can help us with, so there's some stuff we can do, key learnings from them. But from a creative standpoint, from a strategic standpoint, they really haven't come in and imposed their will at all. It's basically just keep doing what you're doing. It's very similar to what they did with Pixar. You know, when they bought Pixar, they said, "You guys are making great movies. Keep on being Pixar." And it's the same way now. I think a lot of people were worried that our content would change and things like that, but if you look at it, nothing's really changed in the last year and a half since they've taken us on board. It's also opened up some great opportunities for us because from distribution and licensing and just a worldwide structure and just infrastructure that they have, it's now opened up doors for us that we can start getting out the Marvel brand to more people and really start helping the comic book industry overall, getting more people in the comics as well as our characters.
And on the creative side, there's been a really good synergy going back over the year. You know, first we had some Pixar artists come in and do some variant covers for us, and then we did the Tron variant cover program where we tronified Marvel characters. And now with the opportunities that have been provided to us with ABC at Castle, the graphic novel that, you know, Son is working on with Bendis and Kelly Sue, to the John Carter of Mars stuff that Son is working on, and to
We've benefited Son of a lot.
And then, you know, people always forget that the cross-gen properties had been acquired by Disney too, so working with them, we were able to start publishing out these amazing books like Mystic that just came out that Jane's been working on, which is a fantastic book. So from a creative standpoint, you know, they recognize we're good at what we do. We are, you know, America's storytellers, as we like to say, and they're giving us some of their properties to work with and run with.
The only problem is no one returns any of my emails for Goofy versus Deadpool. So I'm still working on it. I said that with Iger there. He's like just staring at me. So yeah.
Yeah, Marvel's doing, I think, a pretty good job on ethnic diversity, and you have a fair amount of multilingualism in the comics. There's branching out the flag. There's some Spanish shows up in Power Man and Iron Fist. How does editorial sort of work with balancing both linguistic diversity and accessibility for monolingual English readers?
That is a damn good question.
Well,
It's
a mouthful. You want to
I can say that, I think.
It's the dark people answering, you see.
I honestly don't quite understand the question because there's a lot of big words in there, even though I'm an editor.
You use lots of languages in some of your comics.
Yes.
There's French that's thrown in, there's Spanish that's thrown in. How do you balance having those other languages in there, in their original format, and actually making it understandable for all other readers?
Well, I mean, if you're going to, I mean, obviously if we throw other language in our scripts or in dialogue, we're very careful about making sure it's accurate. You don't want to throw something in there that is obviously clearly wrong or kind of estimate what it is. I had an experience where one of the editors in the office next to me was like, does anyone know what Urdu is? We need to figure out how to write it, and we need to write it in the exact script. And I happen to overhear, and I happen to know what Urdu is because that's what I speak, and I happen to know how to write it. So, you know, just being able to sort of put it out there and actually write the script outright, and that gave it a level of authenticity. And it also, I think, is great because it, you know, it does open up people to that language. We always make an effort to translate it as well underneath if we're going to do it in the actual script. And then we also have different books that are actually translated in so many different languages. We've got the Panini books translated in French, Spanish, Italian. And, you know, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like we do find that balance. And I think actually in a segue into Ultimate Spider-Man, I think that's a really good example of sort of that ethnic diversity, and I think it touches upon a lot of different people who can connect with that type of story.
And it's been reported with him, erroneously he's Latino, he's not, he's Hispanic, and there's a distinction to be made there. But, you know, we'll be well aware when we get around to unveiling exactly what that means, you know, that we make sure we get the right dialect down. I mean, you know, there's different dialects in Spanish. You know, when I created I worked in a book where there were a couple of Mexican luchador superheroes, the Zapata brothers, and I couldn't. My Spanish is broken, especially writing, so I couldn't go to Alejandro's Nicaragua, and I had to call my cousin who's Mexican and say, "How do you say this? Write it down for me." So we're very aware of that, and we pride ourselves on that. We think we're ahead of the curve on that.
You know, we do in turn have a very multicultural office. You know, we always say that Marvel is the world outside your window. It's reflected